Even I think she's even done Russian television, RT TV. She is on Fox News Channel, Fox Business News. You see her everywhere, and she is with us in studio, no less. She is Amy Tarkanian, the former chair of the Nevada Republican Party, and the beautiful spouse of one Danny Tarkanian, who's running for Congress in CD3. Good morning, and thanks for coming in.
Good morning. I just came right off the plane from Russia.
Oh, didn't. You did not.
I know. I'm a Russian. I've been accused of being a Russian agent.
Really?
Yes. There's many things that I do while I'm sleeping. I am amazing at the things that I can accomplish.
Well, and you'll get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go in over on Dean Martin and go to a studio and do a hit with somebody on the East Coast.
Yeah, when it's that ungodly time in the morning, that's usually with Fox Business.
Yeah. They love you.
Yeah, and I love them. I'm really, really, really enjoying this. I actually, the last 2 times I went on MSNBC, they were actually nice to me. I was just on I was on MSNBC on Sunday morning before I went to church and did RT, like you mentioned. I get asked to do RT quite frequently, so I think that's
what
why
is that like?
I love it. They just want to hear your thoughts. They really want to hear what's going on in America. That's it. And they don't argue with you. They're not combative. They're not rude. But there's RT, but then there's RT Europe, RT America. So of course I'm on RT America, and so the host is American. But it's all international news intertwined, and they just truly want to hear what's going on.
I love that.
I know, it's great.
I want to ask you, the big news, obviously, is the president's coming to town tomorrow. And of course, whenever the president comes, everybody, especially in politics, well, who's going to speak? Who's going to get to be on the stage with the president? Who's going to be called up by the president during his speech? And let's answer those questions as best as you know how. Is Danny going to speak?
Yes, he is, and I'm very excited that he was asked specifically by the president to speak. And our children will be there in attendance, but they're going to be sitting with all the VIPs, and which they're fine with. My son Jerry's so funny. He's like, so I get to meet him again? I'm like, what do you mean again? And, he's like, well, I've already met him so many times, and so
they're going to both be on a first name basis.
Oh, I know. And so he says, but this time I want to get a selfie. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we can try to get a selfie with the president because he knows I take selfies all the time. So we'll see. So it's exciting. Thursday we'll have the president there, and he's coming to do a rally in support of Senator Heller, my husband Danny Tarkanian, who's running in CD3, like you mentioned, and for Adam Laxalt, who's running for governor. So those 3 he's pushing really, really hard for. So I'm really excited about this. And then he's going to stay the night. And the next morning, Friday morning, he's going to be hosting a fundraiser specifically for my husband and for Senator Heller. And that's when we get our family picture with the president. So the kids get to miss school.
That'll be the Christmas card. That'll be the Christmas card.
So the kids get to miss school for the first half of the day on Friday, and hopefully that's when Jerry can get his selfie.
A lot of people don't know this. I don't know this. What happens when you're being called on by the White House to speak? Do they give you a time limit? Do they have to approve the speech? Do they have to have it in writing, 24 hours ahead of time? How does that work?
That's a very good question. We have never been asked to turn in a pre-approved speech, but they do give you a time limit, and then they give you the rough schedule, and of course, that's subject to change. And in this administration, that's actually happened more often than not. So you just got to be ready to roll with the punches.
In fact, I emceed the last campaign event here in Las Vegas at the Venetian, and the schedule was changing. In fact, I introduced Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars, and nobody told me, no, he's not here yet.
Oh, no.
So I go through this big introduction, 9,000 people there, and I say, now ladies and gentlemen, Rick Harrison! Crickets. It was so.
That's terrible.
I know. So I do understand these schedules are fluid. What does the president do while all these other while Danny's speaking and everybody else?
I'm just kidding. He tweets.
Well, he does. He does. Sometimes ad nauseum, but he does tweet. You're right. But have you ever been backstage when the president is getting ready to go on?
I have not. This will be my first time. I have met him on a number of occasions, but I have not been backstage before he's about to give a speech. This will be my first. I'm excited.
And you did you meet him? Did you meet him at the convention?
I did. I met him. That was my first time that I met him.
Was that in the Sheldon Adelson suite or something like that?
It was.
Cool?
That was quite a surreal experience. So that's when I first met. I was at then candidate Trump. And then I met him again. He came to my son's school and visited his class.
Oh.
Yes. And then I also met him when one of the infamous pictures of all of the pastors laying hands on him, that was at my church. So he came to our church a couple of times, and the last time I met with him, oh gosh, when was the last time I met with him? I've met him like half dozen times.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I've met him
track,
once,
which is nice.
I met him once, and that was so cool.
And
and I've interviewed him once on the air.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had him on during the campaign.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations! That's pretty cool.
Nah, it was great, and great story with that. We were getting ready to interview him, and we were going to tape him because he was going to be flying on Air Force One during the show coming out here. So we taped him the day before just to run something the day of, and we were getting ready to tape him, and we found that we had some glitch in the system, and we couldn't tape it.
Oh no!
And so he's on the line, and I go, Donald, we can't do this. He goes, oh.
You called him Donald? You're on a first name basis?
No. I called him Mr. Trump.
Yo, Don.
Okay. No. But anyway, this is in the middle of the campaign. He could have just blown us off, but he says, "Hey, tell you what, you talk to Hope, who I think was one of the people working in his office at the time, who I'm assuming is Hope Hicks.
Yeah, she's not there anymore.
And not there anymore." And anyway, said, no, you call Hope and you tell her that I told you to call back through. And as soon as you get the thing fixed, and he came on, he did 15, 20 minutes. Brilliant. And he didn't have to do that.
No. And you know what? And he's really, really genuinely a cool guy.
Yeah.
One-on-one is the best, I think, if you get to meet him. It's great to go and watch him at the rallies, get excited, hear his stump speech and to get the troops all excited and ready for Election Day. But if you ever get that opportunity to have a one-on-one with him, he is genuinely just the nicest man, and he makes you feel at complete ease. And it's so funny, when he did come to church with us, he didn't even want the media to be alerted. And we were sitting right behind him, and he was participating in worship and singing, and he was fist bumping me and praising our family, and saying how proud he was of our kids and working so hard for their dad. And I mean, he's a regular guy that just truly wants to see people succeed, and that just shows too for him to call back and want to make sure that you're okay and that your show goes off, in a positive way. I mean, the guy's a good guy.
No, great guy, and he's been and so far he's been a great president, and I pray that he's going to be president again for another 4 years.
Yes.
I want to ask you about the race. And in particular, I want to ask you about debates. Now, I know Danny was in studio maybe a month ago saying, we'd like, they asked us for debates. We said we're going to do as many as we can. We'd like to have them, like every week or every 2 weeks. And now we're finding out that Susie Lee, for some reason, is getting squeamish about debates. What in God's name is going on? First of all, are we going to have even one debate?
Yeah, she's only agreed to do one, and it's with Steve Sebelius. So it's going to be a
Lib.
Yeah, he's actually attacked Danny in the past, and it's going to be a controlled environment. So she feels safe there, and Danny doesn't care. He doesn't care if he's sitting across from the most progressive person who has nothing nice to say about you at all. Danny's going to say the same thing no matter where he goes. He knows exactly where he stands on the issues, and he's going to do circles around her. And I think she has no idea what's coming at her. But she tried to say, oh, Danny won't debate me. Danny's afraid of me. This was like, mid-July when nobody's paying attention and we had just transitioned races. And so now he's offered, I think it was at least 3 hour-and-a-half long each town hall styles to where the constituents could actually ask questions and get past members of the media or members of the community to moderate it as opposed to current members of the media. Because a lot of times, reporters want to make the news. They want to be the news. They want to do the gotcha questions, which he's not afraid of the gotcha questions, but they actually wanted to have a real conversation. Well, do you think she agreed to any of them? No, because once he turned the tables on her, they were like, uh-oh, this guy actually wants to do more. So she wants no part of it. So they're doing.
So this is going to be it.
Channel 8 on Friday. Well, he's going to still offer the debates, and if she doesn't show up, that'll speak volumes. So
we know who Danny Tarkanian is. We know what his positions are. We don't know a lot about Susie Lee. We know she's a philanthropist. She's really rich, and apparently she is an advocate for education. You always have to ask the question, well, if she's been such an advocate for education, why are we still 50th in just about every category?
I know.
We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more coming up. AmyTarkanian is with us. She is not only the former chair of the Nevada Republican Party, but I always like to say she's Jerry's mom.
I'll take that.
And Jerry's
Wear that with a badge of honor.
I owe you money. No.
You owe me money?
I owe you money.
Sweet.
Do you know why?
Why?
Jerry calls, leaves a voicemail on your.
His fundraiser.
Yes, and so I owe you money. So,
okay.
So I'll do that in the next segment as well. My name is Kevin Wall. That is Amy It is live and local now. It's live and local now. We're also aired on a blowtorch of a radio station, 790 Talk Now here in CD3. That is where Danny Tarkanian's running against Susie Lee. I've as you know.
You mean Sanctuary Susie?
Yeah. Is that what it's good? I like that.
You like that?
Sanctuary Susie.
Sanctuary Susie.
The problem is nobody seems to know what Susie Lee stands for. She's just come out, I guess, or somebody associated with her has come out with attack ads on Danny.
It was the DCCC.
Okay, so you can't pin this one on Susie Lee. Well, wink, nod. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure out, because she's not very specific, other than on things like sanctuary cities, the typical Chuck Schumer talking points.
Yeah, for open borders, abolishing ICE, for sanctuary cities, pro-abortion. You've got Sisolak already on the record saying no restrictions on abortions at all, which is disgusting. So that seems to be the Democrat talking point, too. That's gross.
So tell me what Susie Lee is all about. The only thing that everybody seems to know is she's really rich. She's a philanthropist, and she's an advocate for education. Well, whatever that means.
She's got a lot of clothes because in her TV ad, she's constantly doing costume changes. So that's what we know.
God.
So she likes to walk up and down the halls in a fierce manner, changing clothes a lot. That's all we know about her.
What are give us without giving it all away? Spoiler alert. What are some of the questions that Danny's going to want to ask her? I mean, what is it Danny wants to know about Susie Lee at this point?
Where she stands on most issues. Rather than just spewing talking points, does she actually have a stance? Does she actually have a full understanding of what these policies are? Does she actually understand the makeup of CD3 and how it affects the state and the nation as a whole, as opposed to just maybe viewing this as, maybe she's bored with her life and, she needs to go and try something new. I don't know. Nobody really knows where she stands on a whole list of things. I really think she's going to be in for a surprise when she finds her head spinning when she's sitting across from my husband and his breadth and depth of knowledge that he has on the issues. He is incredibly sharp, and It's going to be fun to watch.
Let me just ask you, though, why Steve Sebelius?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Could you have held out to get somebody else? And I'm not saying John Ralston. I'm saying
but
somebody
you know
else.
what? Some of Danny's best interviews have actually been with people like John Ralston. Danny does his best when there's debate, when there's a little bit of combativeness going
pushback.
on. Yeah, absolutely. When it's extremely friendly territory, I mean, he does well, but it's almost like he's bored, like it's vanilla, right? So it's unfortunate, that the attack ads started yesterday on my husband. And if you see them, it is just, they've done a very good job on being extra careful on their wording this go around, because Danny has won a defamation lawsuit and he's in the middle of a second one that he's got on Jackie Rosen. And he could very easily throw in the DCCC and in on that lawsuit if he wanted to, which he could still do if he chose. And they are great at doing character assassination, at twisting, at lying, at defaming. And it's disgusting what they are doing out there, specifically to my husband. So when you see those ads, people say, "Oh, Amy, how do you and your family cope? How are you guys handling this?" Well, first of all, we don't even have time to watch television, so that makes it easy. But we know the truth. We know it's all lies. My kids know it's lies. Even my daughter Ava, who's made thousands of phone calls for her dad, will tell people, if even 5% of this were true, even 1%, don't you think my father would be in prison? This is all character assassination. It's defamation, and it's wrong. And my husband has some TV ads waiting in the can to combat this. And we are also hoping and praying that the third-party groups will come out ready and swinging right back at her.
Can you stick around?
Absolutely.
AmyTarkanian joining us, the wife of Danny Tarkanian and, of course, the former chair of the Nevada Republican Party. We're going to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. and Brett Kavanaugh. That is next, live and local now.